Hey, Jonathan here. I've got a question from Derek Elliott who asks, when you see the line, why hire someone expensive like me, the buyer may immediately ask how expensive before you've had a chance to fully uncover value. Where do you steer the combo next to find the value, but let them know if you're way too much? Okay, so Derek's referring to a line that I often use. I'll say something like, in the why conversation, which I have during a sales interview with a new prospect, I'll try to talk them out of working with me because I want to validate that there is a good fit between our two businesses. I want the arrangement, the engagement or arrangement or whatever the relationship is to be mutually profitable. I want them to be better off after it's over, and I want me to be better off after it's over. And if you can create relationships like that, you're going to have a banging business. Things are going to go great for you. It's not super easy, but that's the idea. Mutually profitable engagements. So people are always happy that they gave you the money and it cost you less than you got paid to do it. All right. So one of the things I'll say in the why conversation, there are three sections of questions. First is why this? So why do the thing that they think they want you to do? The next thing is why now, where you find out how urgent the project is or isn't. And finally, why me? Why would you hire someone expensive like me? Why not just hire why not hire your cousin Vinny or do it internally? You've already got people that do this. Why not just do it on Fiverr? Why not cheap out? Why not do the cheapest option? And you have to ask these questions. You don't have to, but it makes your proposal a lot better if you have the answers to those questions, because they can't freak out at the end and be like, these prices are ridiculous. We could get someone for half this. Because you've already found out why they know that they could get someone for half of that. That's why they're talking to you. They don't want to take that risk. It's usually a risk problem. They need to nail this thing the first time. There's no do-overs. There's some tight deadline, or they're very scared about a competitor, or they have a book launch coming up. There's some kind of urgency, and they don't want to goof around with somebody who doesn't maybe know what they're doing, certainly doesn't appear to value what they do because their prices are so low. If they want someone cheap, they should hire someone cheap, not you. So fine. So when the Derek specific question though, I don't think it's ever happened to me. So it's theoretical. It's a theoretical question. If I said, why hire someone expensive like me? They're not going to cut me off and say, well, how expensive? I'm going to say, why hire someone expensive like me when you could just do this internally? Or when you could just find someone on Fiverr? And they're going to answer that question almost certainly. I can't think, maybe it's happened, but usually they just answer the question. And I'm just building up this expectation that my prices are going to be high. So if they did though, say, well, how expensive is expensive? Like before I answer that, what do you mean expensive? You could say all sorts of things like, well, for something that seems like, I haven't even decided what we're going to do yet, but here's some things I've said in the past. Well, it'll be between 5,000 and 5 million. Can we get back to talking about the project so I can get a sense for what's involved? Make a joke. It'll be somewhere between this gigantic range. Another thing you can do is say, well, historically, my proposals are usually twice as much as anybody else. And they'll be like, twice as much? I'm like, yeah. And you close deals, and I'm sitting here, right? So you just want to answer. I think actually you're imagining something that doesn't really happen that often in practice. So you can you don't have to worry about it. But if you did have to worry about it, crack a joke, throw out some crazy number, say, well, I could be double anybody else you get. Or you could say something like, well, I'd be double what Fiverr would cost. I'd be 1,000 times more than someone from Fiverr. So why don't you just talk to someone there? So I would say, don't worry about it too much, but maybe have a couple of jokes ready to kind of diffuse the conversation and turn it back to the value. Some salespeople explicitly get into not handle it in a direct way, not a joking way, and say like, well, I don't know how much it's going to be yet because I don't even know if I'm going to give you a proposal yet because I don't even see what the value is here. Like, why would you hire anyone at all? I'm not even seeing the business case for this stuff you're suggesting that I do for you. Why bother? It doesn't seem like reasonable. And put them on. It's kind of like, I almost said put them on the defensive, but I don't like that implication. I'm not trying to put them on the defensive. I'm trying to get them to convince me that there's a good fit. because I don't want to take their money if they're going to end up regretting it. That's the worst. So I'm trying to get them to validate to me and themselves that they really should invest in someone who's got a lot of experience with this. If they just need somebody to patch up their clunker car to last, until the end of the school year, then the mechanic shouldn't rebuild the whole thing from scratch for $50,000. They should just replace the fan belt and patch the tires and get the buyer to the end of the school year. 3 more months and they'll be done. Car just needs to last me 3 more months. If that's what they need, that's what you should sell them, or send them to someone who sells that. So, this is all about having confidence in your expertise and the value that clients would realize when you're hiring, I almost said when you're hiring the right clients, which actually I kind of like that. You should be hiring the right clients. Okay, so hopefully I've answered that. I think I've given you a couple of lines that you could use, a couple of jokes to diffuse the conversation, turn it back to the project at hand, and big picture. I barely, if I've ever gotten this question, I don't remember it. So I hope that helps. I'm Jonathan Stark. If you have a question for me, you can hashtag Ask Jonathan on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Twitter, and we will find it, add it to the queue, and answer as soon as we can. See ya.